10 Marvel villains who ruined Spider-Man's life. Spider-Man is considered to have the most iconic rogues gallery in the Marvel universe, with some being as easily recognizable as a wall crawler himself. Though the villains are popular, not all are on the same power level, and a few rise above the rest. Some villains have been annoyances to Spider-Man, but otherwise don't cause him much trouble. Some villains have tried to target Peter Parker in his personal life but ultimately end up failing. Some villains, however, have targeted Spider-Man where he is most vulnerable and actually did succeed in ruining his life, at least for a period of time. Number 10. Green Goblin gave Spider-Man his first real failure. Widely considered to be Spider-Man's true arch-enemy, Green Goblin has been torturing Peter Parker from the beginning. Of all the ways Norman Osborn has targeted Peter since, what hurt him the most was when Green Goblin killed Peter's first love, Gwen Stacy. Disregarding the weird later reveal that Norman and Gwen had a love affair that resulted in superpowered children, Green Goblin's kidnapping and subsequent throwing Gwen off the bridge to her death is still one of the most shocking events in Marvel's history. Though Gwen has since been resurrected in multiple ways, her death still haunts Peter to this day. Number 9. Dr. Octopus has ruined Spider-Man's life in more ways than one. Second only to Green Goblin on Spider-Man's arch-enemy scale, Dr. Octopus has been a problem menacing Peter just the same. Though Green Goblin might be recognized as a superior enemy, Doc Ock has arguably done more to ruin Peter's life. Aware of Peter's secret identity, Otto Octavius just barely missed out on marrying Aunt May. While Peter narrowly avoided a new uncle, Otto succeeded in switching bodies with Peter. Otto's mind in Peter's body resulted in the superior Spider-Man, with Otto taking control of Peter's life for over a year. Number 8. Kraven. Kraven also impersonated Spider-Man. Spider-Man is no stranger to impersonators trying to ruin his reputation, something that Kraven the Hunter accomplished as well. To make the experience worse, Kraven had to get rid of Spider-Man before taking on his identity. To do so, he captured Spider-Man, shot him, and then buried him alive in his own grave. It was a difficult and traumatic experience for Peter, one that cemented Kraven as one of his most dangerous enemies. Number 7. Wilson Fisk nearly killed Aunt May. Aunt May has had her share of close calls over the years, and she is a good example of why Peter had always kept his identity a secret. After Peter publicly unmasked himself as Spider-Man on live television during the Civil War event, his enemies were motivated to take Spider-Man out as a civilian. Though Wilson Fisk didn't do the deed personally, he hired a shooter to take Peter out. Unfortunately, Aunt May was hit in the crossfire because of Peter's actions and Fisk's assassin. Number 6. An unnamed burglar changed Peter's life forever. The bite from the radioactive spider may have been what gave Peter his abilities, but the death of his Uncle Ben was what set him on his path. Fans are familiar with Spider-Man's origin story and have seen it told many times over. That doesn't change the fact that Peter would not be the same hero he is known for being had he had not made the fateful choice to ignore a burglar's crimes, the same burglar that would kill Ben right after. With the guilt of Ben's death, his words of wisdom would echo in Peter's mind forever, reminding him always to do the right thing. Number 5. Red Skull made the death of Peter's parents look like an accident. All Peter's life, he believed that his parents died in a tragic, accidental plane crash. It wasn't until years after he had become a superhero that he had learned that his parents' deaths weren't an accident at all. Peter had learned that his parents were actually undercover CIA agents and that Red Skull was the mastermind behind their deaths and the cover-up. Some fans felt that this new twist overly complicated things, but regardless of how fans feel, Spider-Man found out something he believed his whole life was a lie, and that Red Skull was the one that was responsible for his parents' death. Number 4. The chameleon caused Spidey some extra trauma. Yet another master of impersonation, the chameleon had meddled in Peter's life numerous times before. However, what really got to him is when Peter was made to believe that his parents were still alive and had returned. With a little help from Norman Osborn, the chameleon created robotic copies of Peter's parents. Just as Peter started to accept that his parents were alive, the robots showed their true nature and attacked. As if losing his parents once wasn't enough, Peter thought he'd had his parents back, only to lose them all over again. Number 3. The TVA left Peter with memories they should have erased. At one point, Spider-Man and Wolverine travelled back in time during a rather nonsensical and convoluted plotline, even by comic book standards. Rationality aside, Spider-Man still experienced more trauma and tragedy on his time-travelling adventure. Peter fell in love with a bank teller named Sarah Bailey, who felt the same ways towards him, albeit in a different time period. With Peter ready to propose marriage, the Time Variance Authority finally intervenes and sends everyone back to their proper place and time. Peter, however, still remembers everything, including his feelings for Sarah. Unfortunately, the TVA wiped Sarah's memory and she doesn't remember Peter at all, causing him yet another heartbreak. Number 2. The Jackal caused Peter to question everything. Fans have mixed feelings about Spider-Man's Clone Saga storyline, to say the least. However, fan reception doesn't change the effect it had on Peter Parker. The Clone Saga was orchestrated by the Jackal, later revealed to Peter's university teacher with a serious interest in cloning. Jackal created many clones related to Peter's life, including cloning Gwen Stacy and Peter himself. The clones infiltrating Peter's life caused him to doubt his entire reality and even believe that he himself was the true clone. This really messed with Peter's perception of himself and others around him. Number 1. Mephisto rewrote Spider-Man's reality. Of all Marvel villains, none have succeeded at ruining Peter's life more than Mephisto. With Aunt May on her deathbed, Peter decided he would do whatever it takes to save her, including making a deal with the devil. Mephisto offered Peter and Mary Jane a deal. Aunt May would live if he could erase all traces of their marriage and love for each other. In typical devil fashion, Mephisto showed Peter and Mary Jane a vision of the daughter they would have had in the future only after they agreed, ensuring that she would never be born. The controversial One More Day storyline not only ruined Peter's life in the comics, but it also ruined Spider-Man comics for many fans until it was eventually undone. So there you go guys, that was a quick summary of 10 Marvel villains who ruined Spider-Man's life and how. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. Don't forget to leave a like and please do subscribe. Also don't forget to turn on your post notifications, as we'll be bringing you another great video next time. See ya!